yell. So somebody hopped on one of the Facebook pages I follow, and about recruiting duty, and there was two separate questions, two posts that were made, and one of them was, what product knowledge do you wish you knew before you got on recruiting duty that would have changed your time on recruiting duty, or something of the sort, right? So here's my answer to that question, and I get that question a lot, and I also got that question a lot while I was in recruiting duty for 4 years, and it bothered the fuck out of me. And I say that because most people, now I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but 9 times out of 10, when you go on recruiting duty, you're either at the end of your second enlistment or maybe even the beginning of your enlistment. But either which way, you're a sergeant about to become a staff sergeant, or maybe a brand new promoted staff sergeant. But realistically, you're going to be a sergeant or above. There are those cases where there has been like corporals who go out there, but realistically, it doesn't happen 9 times out of 10. So 9 times out of 10, you've already had 5 years in the Marine Corps. Okay. The question that I have is, why do you need anything else? You already have the product knowledge. You are the product knowledge. You are living, breathing product knowledge. You've just spent 5 years in an organization, and you're telling me you don't know how to talk about it to the point where you're gonna make somebody want to join it enough? Like, if you went and got the new NBA Live, right? And you're a guy who loves playing NBA Live, right? You've already been playing NBA Live for the past 5 years. So you already know the difference of the past 5 NBA Lives. You already know, okay, well, hey, it's better because of this, it's better because of this. And you're going to know how to talk to your boys about it. When you go see a great movie, what do? Oh, shit, yo, the Avengers Endgame, that shit was tight, da-da-da. And you just only watched the movie for 2.5 hours, but you're going to talk about it because guess what? By watching that movie, you just got the product knowledge that you needed to be able to talk to some people about what the fuck is good. So the reality of what I'm talking about is, you're already living, breathing the product knowledge. And if you've been in the Marine Corps 5 years and you don't know how to talk about all 11 of those benefit tags, then there's something wrong. Where the hell have you been for the past 5 years of the Marine Corps? If you've been in the Marine Corps for a year, if you're a corporal in the United States Marine Corps, and I hand you any 11 of those benefit tags, you should literally be able to talk about each and every one of those benefit tags. Like, when I would hand somebody a self-reliance times 3, self times 3, you got, I don't even remember, wow, it's been so long, bro, I haven't even seen a benefit tag in a minute, right? But, you got self times 3, and you're talking about self-reliance, you're talking about, oh shit, I don't even know, but you're talking about the 3 selves, right? And, how do you get those? Okay, well, I've been in the Marine Corps for 5 years. How did I get all of those? Pride of belonging. How do you get pride of belonging in the Marine Corps? Bro, if you don't have 1,000 stories about how you've become more proud of yourself and the uniform and the people around you, then where the heck have you been? If you don't have stories about leadership, management, if you don't have stories or even have an inkling of an understanding of how the tuition system works, there's a problem. If you can't talk about travel and adventure, and that's the thing too. Like, if you can't, like, for instance, travel and adventure, I'm a reservist, bro. So when travel and adventure came across my desk, guess what I did every single time? I stood up, yo, Morales, am I coming over here, bro? And then I would hype the dude up. Yo, my man Mo, bro, he been to 45 some odd different countries, bro. He's been here, he's been there. But you know what? I'm not gonna tell a story. I'm gonna let him tell you a story. Now, mind you, am I still gonna find out why did you choose pride of belonging? Why did you choose travel and adventure? But if I can see that in the interview process that there's things that this dude might relate more to with this dude, then I'm gonna pull the dude in the office. Or I'm in the interview. Or if I realize that maybe I'm not aligning to this dude, then you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pull the other Marine into the interview. I'm like, hey, yo, Mo, you know what, man? Can you talk to this dude about this? Because I see everything he is talking about are things that you've told me you've achieved in your lifetime, right? And I'll tell you a story. So talking again, product knowledge. You know what I mean? So when we're talking about like self times 3, my boy Morales, he came from, you know, his story. When he was younger, he grew up in Passaic. He gets mad at me, I might say this the wrong way, whatever. But he grew up in Passaic, New Jersey, and he was a really emo kid. And he had hair all the way down past his face. His hair would come all the way down here, and he tells the kids, you know, it was because I was ashamed of myself. It was because I wasn't self-reliant. It was because I lacked just self-discipline. And you know, I was ashamed of who I was, and I didn't have the pride of belonging. And he would tag that in too, and he would tell his story of how he became a Marine and how he got recruited and how he went home and how his recruiter was like, "Listen, I'm not even going to take you seriously until you freaking get a haircut." And the recruiter seriously kicked him out the office. He went home. He said, "Mom, I need money for a haircut." His mom was like, "The fuck?" He went back to the recruiting office with a haircut. Joined the Marine Corps. You know, but Mo would come and he would sit down and he would tell this story. Now the thing is, though, is that when you talk to Mo, the energetic dude flipping around, hopping around our desks, playing the guitar, singing songs, talking to you about everything and anything, you would never have known that. You would never know that this dude used to be a recluse. You would never know that this dude used to act like that. But then Morales would use his own story as the product knowledge needed to explain to you that benefit tag. So when the question is risen, you know, hey man, what product knowledge do you wish you had? Bro, if you don't look through the macabre, like me, I'm gonna be honest, bro. People hated me for it. I never used the macabre, bro. I didn't even have the freaking Marine Corps enlisted opportunities book on my desk. I don't even know where the hell it went. I never customized it. I never did nothing. And the reason why I say that, and again, I'm not an 8412, and I'm not telling you not to listen to what the schoolhouse is telling you, but for me is, you know, if you wanted to see some pictures, you know, I would ask my boy, yo, Mo, let me see your macabre, bro. But for me, if I gotta pull out a book and start flipping through pages, then I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And then the person that I'm talking to, they're gonna look at me like, yo, why does this dude need a visual aid? Why does this dude? Now, mind you, I'm gonna ask you in the beginning of the interview, hey man, do you learn more visually or are you more of an auditory learner? You know, like what's gonna work more for you? You know, do you want me to take notes? Do you want me to use a whiteboard? Do you want me to, you know, open up a book for you? Do you want to watch a video? I'm gonna ask you that because the reality of it is that if I'm talking to you and I'm not talking to you how you need to be talked to, well then I'm wasting my time and I'm wasting your time. So that's part of the thing, is that we got to understand our audience. We got to understand how we're talking to them. We got to understand why we're talking to them. And we also got to understand, like, bro, there's been times that I've had kids come in my office that I've pulled off the street or that I've pulled off the phone and I've literally said, hey, you're on your way over here now. You're coming here now. And I literally had them show up to my office and I'm like, hey, what's going on, man? Why'd you show up? And they say, well, because you told me to. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, and that shit fucking works. Like, hey man, what are you doing right now? I'm not doing shit right now. Okay, well then how about you get in your car? How about you hop in your whip? How about you get to the office? And how about we fucking change your life? That's it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit. So then going back to the other topic, you know, people like, oh, how do you AC? Or hey, what is your AC techniques? So I talked about this in the one episode with Gunny Ujama. You know, in the beginning, when I first started talking to people, I was trash. Like, I was, you know, when I was around people, I would want to show them how good I was, right? So when I was, even as a Lance Corporal, like when I was around people, I wanted to show people that I could do some shit. But when I was alone, I got like, I didn't want to do nothing. I was like, oh, it was weird. It was weird. But my point of the matter is that, like, first of all, you're not gonna know, and this is just with life, you're not gonna know until you do. So you can sit here and think that, oh, this might work or this might work, and you might wait years to figure out a technique works, and then all of a sudden it's like, bro, why haven't I always been doing this. Well, and then also on top of that, you also got to go out with people too. You know what I mean? Go out with the senior recruiters and go out and watch what makes them tick. Because honestly, the way that I became a really good canvassing recruiter was I watched all other people and what they did, right? So like I know right now with COVID-19 things are weird, so you know, y'all maybe in your AO you're not really going out to high schools and shit. But my boy Santana, when I was a corporal about to be a sergeant, and I was on recruiter's assistance, and my boy Santana, he's a Dominican cat. He'd walk around the school and he'd be like, "Yo que lo que, baby? Yo dime lo que. Or he'd be like, "Yo, tranquilo." And he would literally just walk around the school and just hype kids up in the hallways, or he would walk through the hallways and he would roast the shit out of you, and he would literally just laugh his ass off, because a lot of these kids, that's what they do every day in these high schools and at these tables, bro. They want to know that you're a human being, and they also want to know that you can freaking make them laugh and that you can laugh too. So when you're walking around the high school and you're at a table setup, you know, everyone's like, "Oh, somebody got to man the table." All right, listen, this is what you do. You man the table with a freaking, either you have a Lance Corporal on RA, you got somebody in, there's reserve units everywhere, right? So you get your minions, your Lance Corporals, to come out and to stand the table, or you have your poolies come and stand the table. And then you, as the freaking recruiter of the school, you walk around all the tables, bro. You walk around every table, you introduce yourself to every single swinging thing in the table. You talk to everybody, all the females. You make them laugh. You make them laugh. You make the dudes laugh. You make everybody laugh, bro. And you just talk to everybody. Don't even talk about the Marine Corps. Just go over there, make them laugh, make everybody laugh. Make sure you're known, so that when you hop into school, people are like, "Oh shit, yo, what up, Doug?" That's it. When you walk into school, the teachers, the faculty, if the teachers or the faculty need help doing something, that's what you're doing. And you're making yourself known, so that the school is going to become an advocate for you. The school is going to become an advocate to the parents. The school is going to say, "Hey, why haven't you talked to the Marine Corps recruiter? Yo, how come you haven't talked to Doug?" And that is what happens, and then it trickles into classroom talks. Talk comes into leadership seminars. Bro, I had my entire school, one of my schools, I had them literally, the principal, and she wasn't supposed to. She actually got in trouble for this, but hey, it happened. So she ended up giving me the entire auditorium for a leadership talk and an NROTC talk. And it was the same day. I was like, "Hey, listen, you know, I'm here. I brought my captain. Is there any way that we can get a talk going on with all of the juniors and all of the seniors?" She was like, "Yeah, I got you." Literally over the loudspeaker, all juniors and seniors to the auditorium right now. And then boom, here I was. Long story short, she ended up getting in trouble because there were some people in the school who had signed, you know, no recruiting agreements or whatever, and she had gotten phone calls from the people at the house saying, "Oh, you can't do that. Why did you do that?" And again, that they were all there just getting information, and that's it. Nobody was forcing them to sign anything. No one was forcing them to join anything. But yo, it was because of the rapport that I had built with the vice principal and the principal and all the shit that I would do for them that happened. So now, going back to the area canvassing thing, bro, I make it a joke. You know what I mean? I make it a joke, man. Even now with my new job, bro, I just go up to people, I'll be like, "Hey, man, you dropped something." They'll be like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, you dropped something back there." And they'll turn around and turn back. And then they'll be like, "Wait." And I'll be joking with them like, "Yo, my bad, man. I was just fucking with you." But hey, but you ever think about joining the Marine Corps? Or, you know, I would just walk by somebody and just I'd be like, yo, dude, you're bro, I've met you. I can't remember your name though. Oh man, I remember you. And I would make up some crazy place on where I met this person that I've never met in my entire life. But because of how good I am at bullshitting, they'd be like, "Oh shit, yeah, man, I remember you too." And then I would literally start bullshitting with them, how they been, I follow up with them, even though I don't know shit about them. I'm like, "Oh, okay, how's that doing? And then I would get all this information out of them. And then I'm like, "Oh shit, so how you liking that new job?" "Oh man, I fucking hate it, I find out all this shit about them while asking them these questions, because I'm not going to assume anything, because if you assume shit, then they're not going to want to keep talking to you, because you're saying shit that they never said. And that's the part too about recruiting duty and about being on recruiting duty, is that when you're making phone calls, when you're area canvassing, you got to listen. Because if you say something that somebody never said, and you're like, oh, well, you said this, and they're like, no, I didn't, you lost them. At that moment, everything you've done up until that time, you're done. They're gonna lose you. They've lost all respect for you. Anything that you had them on, anything you had them gripped up on, anything you had them hook, line, and shrinked, like, that shit's gone. Because reality of it is that the one time you said, oh, well, you said this, then they didn't say that. Now, mind you, that's again why I brought up the whiteboard, the notes, where I used to pull out a whiteboard in all my interviews. I didn't do this until like a year, until like right about, only had like 6 months left until I was a boss. But I pulled out a whiteboard, and I was against notes for a minute, because for me, I had an 8412 math sergeant who was like, hey, listen, take notes, because it seems like you forget a lot. And I was like, nah. I was like, I don't like to take notes, because then it sounds like I'm not listening. And then, to me, that's what it looked like. But then what I ended up doing was I would tell them in the beginning of my interview, I'm like, listen, I'm going to take notes, not because I'm not listening to you, but because I want to have some things to go back on, and I want to make sure we don't miss anything. And then also, I want to make sure I'm writing down some key points that you're talking about. Then what that would do for me, I would do it on the whiteboard, is as he was telling me his story, as he was telling me his goals, his dreams, and I was picking them apart, I would write down key things that he would say, and I would, or she, and I would be like, what does success mean to you? Boom, I would write it on the board, and then at the end, I would depict it, I would destroy it, and I'd be like, well, hey man, listen, you told me, in quotation marks on this board, you told me that success is this, this, and the third. Yeah, I did. Okay, so we agree on that. That's what you said. Yes. Okay. Now, does your plan match up to that? It doesn't. But let me show you how the Marine Corps can get you to where you want to be, which is successful. And then, boom, I would paint the picture in the Marine Corps side of the house, and I'd be like, isn't that exactly what you said success is? And they'd be like, oh, shit. And now, boom, I got you, bro. And now I'm like, hey, do you want to be a Marine? And then you're like, I'm like, bro, you just told me you want to be successful. And successful to you means this. And I just showed you how to get to that. And now you're going to tell me you don't know? You some kind of stupid? And then be like, and then I'd be like, well, what's going to stop you from doing that? And then, go on to there. But getting back to the recruiting, to the area canvassing thing, because I kind of went on another tangent. Yo, you gotta just be you. That's the number one thing. You mean? Be you. Don't go out there trying to be nobody else when you're area canvassing, because people are gonna see right through that.